गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। We are in Katha Upanishad and we are, I think, on the verse number 3, and here we are seeing how the self, the Atman, is all pervasive. And we haven't done the bhashya, na? Suruj or anyone? We haven't done the bhashya, right? For third verse. Have we done the bhashya? I can't hear.
I don't think so, Swami. No, I don't think so.
Okay. So we'll do that. So the verse goes, Yena rupam rasam gandham shabdan sparshanscha maithunan etenaiva vijanati kimatra parishishyate etad vaitata. I think I explained the verse, but we did not do the bhashya. So here it says that yena, that by which, that means by the self, the people come to know. What do they come to know? Vijanati, etenaiva vijanati. What do they come to know clearly? Rupam, rasam, gandham, shabdam, and sparsham cha maithunan. So rupam, form, color and form, rasam, taste, gandham, smell, shabdam, sound, sparsham, touch, and maithunan, pleasurable experiences, sensations, etc. That because of which all this is known. That is all because of the self. And here the Bhashyakar, Adi Shankaracharya ji, he goes, Yena vijnana swama bhavena atmana rupam rasam gandham shabdan sparshanscha maithuna nimittan sukha pratyayan vijanati vispashta vijanati sarvah lokaha. The entire world, because of which is able to know. What is that? Because of which that Atma, through that it is able to know the Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha and Maithuna, and as a result they gain the experiences, and this is very clearly known to everyone, that a dead man does not have any experiences of seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, or any pleasurable experience. Only a living person. So what is that living? What is that self? That it is due to the self all these experiences are possible. The senses are functioning, the mind is functioning, and that self, the teacher says here, is the Atma, is the Atma. Now the student throws in a doubt. Nanu na evam prasiddhir lokasya atmana deyadi vilakshana aham vijanamiti dehadi sanghatoham vijanamiti tu sarvah lokah avagacchati. The teacher has a doubt. The student has a doubt. What is the doubt? The objection. He says that what is that? That when we in the world, you are saying that the self is the cause of all seeing, hearing, teaching, feeling. It is without that all these experiences are not possible. But in the world, the objector is saying, in the world, it is a common knowledge. Nobody sees the self to be separate from the body. Nobody sees the self distinct from the body. And meaning it doesn't see the self separate from the eyes, sees separate from the sound, the touch, the experiences, etc. They only consider this I, the self, as a combination of the consciousness and matter. It is, they take it as one. The teacher, when he listens to this, he says, "Acha, you are very intelligent." And he says in the answer, "Natvevam dehadi sanghatasyapi shabdadi swarupatva aviveshad vigneyatva visheshacha na yuktam vijñatrutvam." He says, the teacher is answering. The teacher says, but this is not so. Natvevam. Then dehadi sanghatasyapi shabdadi swarupatva avisheshad vigneyatvad, and so on. He says it because the body and spirit, yes, the aggregate of body and spirit or the consciousness is indistinguishable from the objects that are seen, etc. Sound, touch, taste, etc. And it is, he says, and these objects cannot be the knower. So if eyes are seeing the form, the tongue is tasting the food, the ears are hearing the word. Here it is not said, I am putting it in words. And what is that? That just as an object is being is known by the eyes, just as an object is known by the eyes, an object is tasted by the tongue, an objective word is heard by the ears. Similarly, the eyes, the five senses, they are also known by someone. You cannot take the eye out and keep it on the table and say, oh, now the eye is seeing. I cannot see if you put it out on the table. You cannot cut your ears and put them on the table and say, now the ear is hearing. It is not possible. So the capacity in an object to know another object is not there, and therefore there must be some other what you call a factor there. So therefore he says that यदि ही देहादि संघातः रूपाद्यात्मकः सन रूपादिन विजानीयात् बाह्या अपि रूपादयः अन्योन्यं स्वं स्वं रूपं च विजानीयुः. So he says here, So we cannot say that the senses are knowing the objects. It is not possible. That is not correct. That is not right. That is not your experience also when you are looking at the world. An object cannot know another object. And if we say that the conglomeration of that every object is a conglomeration of consciousness and matter, and they are able to, then it will be a problem. This bottle will come to know another bottle. One stone will come to know another stone. Dead body will come to know another dead body. That is not possible. And therefore, it stands, this approach stands to be corrected, and therefore, because it is not so. So what is then? Na chaitad asti tasma dehadi lakshananshcha rupadi nete naiva dehadi vyatirikte na eva vijnana swabhavena atmana vijanati lokaha. Therefore, we come to this conclusion from general observation that people come to know the objects only because of the self. And we have just now proved to you that eyes cannot know the word or the form, the ears cannot know the sounds, the tongue cannot know the taste, the tasted, just as much as the object which is perceived by the five senses. The five senses are also nothing but matter, are also nothing but an object. An object cannot come to know another object. So it is concluded that there must be some intelligent principle, and that principle is the self. That only through the self a person is able to know the objects of the world. Yatha yena loho dahati so agniriti tadvata. Just as the example is taken, that because of which an iron is burning or is red hot is because of the fire. Similarly, that because of which a person comes to know the world and the other worlds is the self. So can you see the fire in the hot iron? You can't. But can the iron be hot without the fire? Not possible. Not possible. So even though you don't see the fire, but you know that the fire must have, the heat in the iron has come from the fire. Similarly, the object, the senses, they cannot come to know the objects, but we cannot see the self. But we know that without the self, the senses cannot perceive the objective stimuli. See. So, who is behind the eyes, which is providing the capacity for the eyes to see the object? The seer, the hearer, the toucher, the feeler, the thinker, the understander. And it is very clear that the one who is the seer is other than the seen. The one who is hearer is other than the heard. The taster is other than the tasted. There is no interpolation there. It cannot happen the other way around, that the tasted is coming to know the taster. The form is, color and form is coming to know the seer. It is not possible. Atmanah avijneyam kimatra asmin loke parishishyate na kinchit parishishyate. That Atma is there anything that is left out in this world which cannot be known by the Atma? Atmanah avijneyam. Is there anything left not known by the Atma? No. Sarvameva Tvatmana Vijnayam. No. It knows everything. Everything is known by the Atma alone. The known and the unknown. Everything is known because of this, known by the self alone, not because known by the self alone. Yasya Atmanaha avijneyam na kinchit parishishyate sa Atma sarvajnyaha etad vaitata. And in this manner, that Atma, from that Atma, yes, therefore, thus, from that Atma, nothing is left not knowable. And therefore, we can say that Atma sarvameva tvatmana vijnayam. We can say that Atma is sarvajna, and that Atma is all-pervading. Nothing is not known by it. Everything is known. I should say, nothing remains not known by it. It knows everything. And therefore, etad vaitata. Etad vaitata, meaning this is that. Etad vaitata. This Atma is that reality. Whenever we told last week that whenever etad vaitata comes, it's coming to the conclusion. This is the statement of the Upanishads. This is the principle that has been told. Kim tadyata nachiketasa prishtam devadibhirapi devadibhi vichikitsam dharmadibhyo nyad vishnoho paramam padam yasmat param nasti tadva etad adhikada gatam iti arthaha. The teacher continues to say after that, after telling the student that this Atma is that reality. Which is that anyatra dharmat, anyatra krita kritacha, asmat krita kritacha, anyatra bhutacha bhavyacha. He had asked that question to the teacher. Tell me that which is other than dharma, adharma, other than doing and not doing, other than past and future, and don't tell me from your imagination. Tell me how you see the world. What do you see directly at this moment? You communicate that to me. And the teacher is saying, etad vaitata. This is that, this Atma which I am mentioning now, this Atma is that reality which is other than the dharma, other than the doing and not doing, other than the past and future. Kim tadyata, who is that? It says, who is that about which the Nachiketa had asked the question, that which is beyond dharma, that which is beyond doing, not doing, that which is beyond past and future, that one is even the gods, the devatas have doubts about it. Nachiketa sa prishtam devadivirapi vichikitsitam dharmadibhyonyat. So, and that dharmadibhyo, that which is other than dharma, and it is other, and it is Vishnoho Paramam Padam. So it is even beyond Vishnu. Vishnu is the maintainer. Vishnu is the maintainer. Brahmaji is the creator. Shivji is the destroyer. Who is beyond that? He is beyond that. Who? The self. and Parampadam Yasmat Param Nasti, and there is nothing above that. So objects cannot come to know the objects. Objects cannot come to know objects. The senses know the objects. Senses cannot know the senses. The mind knows the senses. Mind cannot know the mind. The intellect knows the mind. Intellect cannot know the intellect. The life force knows the intellect. Beyond that is the consciousness, the self. Now, as we are going back to the ultimate cause, who is beyond this Atman? No, there is nothing beyond this Atman. The buck stops there. This is that which what you had asked. This is that Brahmapada. This is that Brahman. This is that final destination. This is that absolute principle. This is that Etad Vaitata. Understand Etad Adhigatam iti arthaha. Understand it in this way. And in this way, our Shankaracharya explains this verse. Yena, where are we? Yena rupam rasam gandham shabdan sparshanscha maithunan etena eva vijanati kimatra parishishyate etad vaitata. See, we look at it in another way, and that is that, one moment, if we take the example of a body, it is seen, you see the body, you see this body, it is an object to be seen. Who is the seer of this object? Who perceives this object? Who is seeing it? I taste a dish. Who is tasting it? Is it the tongue which is tasting the dish? Cut the tongue. Will the tongue be able to taste? Not possible. So there is some intelligent principle. Tongue is also an object. Atma is not an object. So the knower, the rule is the knower is different from the known. Known can never come to know the knower. And when you do this analysis, the distinction, the viveka between the Atma and Anatma. What? Atma, the conscious principle. Anatma, other than the conscious principle. What is Anatma? The intellect, the mind, the senses, the objects perceived. What is their nature? Which are coming and going. This is called Atma Anatma Vivek. This is called discrimination. And so when we say this body is seen, who sees the body? The senses. Then we can even say the mind is thinking the body. Then who knows that the mind and if we analyze the condition of the mind and the senses, then we exist, the self exists as the seer of the body. Do you, as the self exists, or even as a aggregate of body and mind, do you exist as all senses put together is you? All senses put together, meaning seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting and mind, all these put together, is that equal to me, the Swami? Is that equal to I? Is that equal to the self? Even I is included. I see, I hear, I touch, I feel, I taste, I think, I understand. All this I is also included in that. Putting all these together, is that equal to you, the self? What will be your answer? Think. Are you aggregate of your experiences, or you are independent of your organs put together, sense organs put together? No, we are not the aggregate of our senses. And why? So, because when we go to sleep every night, that time we experience a dream, and in that dream, when there is no dream and we go into deep sleep, do we stop existing? Do we stop being conscious? We know there was a dream and we know there was no dream. See? So the mind is going through the various stages. What are the stages? The waking, dream and deep sleep, manifestation and unmanifestation. Do you feel you are manifesting and unmanifesting? Or when you look at them, when you look at yesterday, that manifestation of waking and dream happened and deep sleep. Do you feel you manifested, you unmanifested? Or you are merely a sakshi, a witness of the phenomena of manifestation and unmanifestation? So you are the entire consciousness. And then in what condition do we exist then? In deep sleep we don't know anything, yet we exist. There are no thoughts, there is no mind, yet we exist. In waking and dream there is mind. In deep sleep there is no mind. So is our existence dependent on manifestation of the mind only? That is also not true, because in deep sleep there is no mind and we still exist. How do we know we exist? Because when we wake up we say we had a wonderful sleep. So someone was witnessing it. Someone was knowing it. What? The absence of the mind? Think. And thus, so if we say it is the waker speaking that I had a good sleep, how can the waker who was unconscious in deep sleep have an experience of an unconscious state? Unconscious waker, unconscious. It is not. It cannot be an unconscious waker. So there was something conscious there. Slowly we have to equate it to the self. And in this way, the teacher says here, how can you have a conscious memory of an unconscious experience? Conscious memory, I had a good sleep. Unconscious experience, no mind in the deep sleep. Think. And in this way, so we cannot say, therefore we cannot say that the consciousness comes from matter. Matter does not have consciousness in it. Consciousness is separate. Come back to our Dakshinamurti Stotram. Come back to our Dakshinamurti Stotram. This was the whole analysis we did there. That with reference to the body, consciousness is, with reference to the objects, the satta is, the existence is. In the absence of the objects, in the absence of the body, do you feel that you are not? Will you ever come to know that you are not? No, you are always. And in this manner, consciousness cannot come out of dead matter. Consciousness is self-existing. But how we are living, how we are moving around in this world as if we are this body, we are these senses, we are this, we are so many years old, we are born here and all that. Everything is, what we do is with reference to our body. These are my children, I am helping them grow, blah, 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 blah. These are the roles. But who are you? You are that consciousness which is independent, and this consciousness is existing independently. Matter coming together cannot create consciousness. Two iron pieces coming together can create spark. Two inert material coming together, rubbed together, can create spark. This is how the aborigines or in the Stone Age, they used to have the stick. Today also they keep rubbing it. There is a bowl of wooden bowl, and they put some straws in it, and it catches fire. So, is it that all these equipments have come together, and because they have come together, consciousness has started expressing, has emerged out of these equipments? No. Atma, the self, is independently existing, whether there is matter, whether there is body or no body. And we have this experience. In the waking, we have the gross body. In the dream, we have the subtle body. In the deep sleep, we have no body, and we continue to exist. Challenge yourself to think differently. Think according to the Upanishads. So, consciousness can exist without senses, without the mind, and that consciousness is separate, is different from the senses, the mind, the intellect, etc. And in this way, conclusion, body is not equal to consciousness. Body is not equal to consciousness. So, what remains after we remove the world, after we remove the senses, after we remove the mind, after we remove the intellect? What is left behind is consciousness. All reference is removed, but you cannot remove yourself. That is Etad Vaitad. That is the Brahman. That is the Atma, which cannot be removed. Whatever you can remove, remove. We are doing that analysis right now. So what remains? Etad Vaitad. That is, this is that. What remains is that. This is the method of neti neti. Not this, not this, not this, not this. When I see something, I don't say I am that something. I am the seer of that something. If I hear something, I do not say I am the heard. I am other than what is heard, and so on with all the various senses. And then we come to the mind. I see the thought. I don't say I am the thought. You always say, I am thinking the thought. I am thinking in this manner. I had this thought. I had this brain wave. That is not equal to conscious. I is equal to the thought. Similarly, understanding also. The understander is other than the understood. The thinker is other than the thought. And in this way, this entire world of that is presented to us is the expression of that matrix, of that Maya, and when we take this analysis, we can separate that which can be separated, and which no longer can be separated is the truth. And our mistake is that somehow we have identified the consciousness with the body and considered and given the value and the meaning, and as a result of that identification, we think it is the Atman, that this body I am. Then the mother gives birth to a child, she lends the consciousness, oh, it is my child, and she starts seeing the child as an extension of herself. See? But when we isolate, when we separate the Atman from the world of senses, mind and intellect, we come to realize the world does not exist. Only the Atman exists. And that is the self, that is the Atman. But so the first part was neti neti, I am not this, I am not this, I am not this, I am not that. A mother extends herself only to her child. Then she extends herself to the second child, then to the third child. Out of the three, someone will be her favorite. When we are able to extend our Atman, our self, not to one object which we have given value to, but to one and all, everything, then we become free from the clutches of the Maya. So one way is to withdraw from all the equipment and come to be the self. The other is expand the self to include everything. Both ways, when we are withdrawing, we become free from the mind, which is nothing but Maya at the totality level. When we expand, we include everything in the self. And in both the cases, the impact of Maya becomes null and void. She becomes ineffective. Now, as we move ahead in the third, fourth, fifth, and the three verses, the way to self-investigate that is being shown through. And what is the process? The process is Atma Anatma Vivek. Ek minute, I'm just checking the time. Kya hai time? So the process of self-investigation is Atma Anatma Vivek. And in this process, we investigate and dive deep into our own self and come to abide. So, is the consciousness which illuminates the objects through the five senses. Is that consciousness separate from the consciousness which illuminates the mind? Is it? Or is it the same? You may not have thought of these questions, but Adi Shankaracharya thinks. Our contemplation makes us think that way. Is the consciousness, is the seer consciousness separate to the hearing consciousness? Is the seer separate to hearer? Hearer separate to taster? Each one is different. Seems to be different, that's why we are using different names. But are they different? No, they are the same. Okay, so that consciousness which is illuminating the objects of the five senses, is that consciousness the same consciousness which is illuminating the thoughts appearing in the mind? Is that consciousness the same consciousness which is allowing understanding to take place, is knowing that understanding is taking place at this moment? देखो मजा है ना? See, objects when we look at the world, we see the objects, but there is an essence behind the objects. For example, we see a pot. Pot is made up from what? From clay. What are you touching? Pot. What are you using? Pot. What is the shape of a pot? If you remove the pot, what remains? Clay. Now come back again. When you touch the top of the pot, are you touching clay? Yes. When you touch the middle of the pot, what are you touching? Clay. Bottom of the pot, clay. Just as when you are touching any part of an ornament, you are touching gold. You are touching gold. Can you remove the pot from the clay? I am asking. Can you remove the pot from the clay? You cannot manifest it. Clay will continue to remain. Whether it is a broken pot, whether it is a useful pot, or it is a different shape of pot, mud is the constant essence of that pot. The gold is the continuous essence of that ornament. What is that continuous essence of yours? From childhood till now, so many years have passed, body has changed. So many thoughts have come and gone, so many concepts have come and gone, so many sense stimuli have come and gone. But what is that which remains the same? Is that other than you? Think. So what is that essence of all objectivity? Here objectivity is not just the world. In that world comes your senses, your mind, your intellect, meaning your body. So when body is removed, pot is removed, clay remains, substance remains. When the ornament is removed, substance, the gold remains. When the form body is removed, what is the substance that is remaining? No, I am not dead yet, but in deep sleep you have got no body. Yet you remain. Think in this manner. this way, the substance is the Atman, the essence is the Atman. It is it is present in this world, just as the clay is present in the pot, pervading every aspect, every form of the pot is pervaded by the clay. Similarly, every aspect of this creation is pervaded by the Atman. Just like everything in the dream is pervaded by the mind. Exactly the same way, the self is pervading the entire world. Here you take, either you can take the world as the waking world, or smarter would be take the waking, dream and deep sleep world together. So the Atman is present in the world just as the clay is present in the pot, or the gold is present in the ornament, or the water is present in the wave. So where is the pot then? If everything you are touching, feeling, tasting, experiencing mud, but calling it a pot, you are tasting, feeling, experiencing gold, but calling it an ornament, you are using your five sensing and mind to see that it is water, but calling it a wave. Why? Because our attention is on the name and form. This world is made up of Asti, Bhati, Priya, Nama, Roop. The Nam, Roop aspect is the world. Asti, Bhati, Priya is the self, Satchidanand. Remove the name and form from your mind. The essence of all the names and forms is this Asti, Bhati, Priya. What is that? Self. The conscious principle. Conscious principle. So that Atma is not only in this body, only in this sense, pervading these senses, it is experiencing, pervading even the Himalayas, the Gangaji, the various rivers, the mountains, everything. There is nothing that is left out of that it does not know. And in this way, it is the presence of the Atman. Listen carefully. It is the presence of the Atman which makes the object to be it is the presence of the self / Atman which makes the appearance of the object possible, and without that illuminating principle, the Atmic principle, the objects cannot exist. This analysis of consciousness and the Sat and Chit, we did it in the Dakshinamurti Stotra. So now when we have come to this conclusion that the world cannot exist without the Atman, do you need to close your eyes to meditate? So when you close your eyes, close your senses, withdraw from your senses, you come to yourself, neti neti. That is meditation. But does meditation stop when you open your eyes? No. Because the essence of the whole world is the Atma itself. We just now saw. So open-eyed meditation now. Even if our eyes are open, we are in meditation. If we are contemplating in this manner. And in this way, our if we withdraw the essence, the world cannot exist, and therefore this when we consider ourselves as the body, the internal essence of not only this body but everything in this world is that Atman. And that is that. That Atman is the reality. That Atman is anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat, anyatra asmat krita kritat. Your question is answered, Nachiketa. Now we go into the next verse. He says, Ati sukshmatvad durvignayam iti matva etam evardham punah punaraha. That Brahman is so subtle that it is not knowable. For example, we can come to know earth, we can come to know water, we can have an experience of fire, we know there is air, but have you seen space? No. The subtler a thing, more pervasive it is. Space is all everywhere. It is giving accommodation to all the other four. But have you seen space? No. But you know it is there. Even subtler than space is this consciousness, is this Atma. Same thing is going to be told again and again in the next two verses, 3rd, 4th and 5th. Third we have seen. Now we are seeing in the 4th verse how this Atma, the self, is untouched by grief. Swapnantam jagaritantam cha, swapnantam jagaritantam cha, ubhau yenanupashyati, mahantam vibhumatmanam, matva dhiro na shochati. Together. Swapnantam jagritantam cha, ubhau yenanupashyati, mahantam vibhumatmanam, matva dhiro na shochati. I have already given a taste of this. I'll just talk about this and we touched on the Swapna part just now, that we'll look into in detail in our next class. That because of which in the human, in the person, one experiences the world in the dream as well as in the waking. And what is he seeing? He is seeing the gross objects in the waking and he is seeing subtle objects in the dream. That great, that all-pervasive Atma, knowing that Atman, and wise man does not grieve. He does not grieve. So here the teacher and the Upanishad is making us available to our Atmic self, and they are again and again insisting that you are that all-pervasive principle. You are that constant. You are that undying one. Who is telling? Yamaraj is telling, the Lord of Death. You are that undying one. So just as the dream world comes and goes every day, but you don't come and go, you are the constant one. Similarly, the waking comes and goes every day and you are the constant one. You are giving the validity, you are the substance, just like that mud was the substance of all the pots, gold was the substance of all the ornaments. You are the substance of the entire waking and dream. Knowing this, the wise people do not grieve. We'll look into the Bhashya in our next class, because now at 3 o'clock, 3:30, Swamiji's class is going to start. So I have to be there. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just sit quietly for a few moments. Hari Om. See you tomorrow for Jnaneshwari. I'll keep letting you know if it is possible on Saturday. देखते हैं where I am. I don't know where I will be on Saturday. So check the messages. Chalo, Hari Om. Bye.
Thank you so much.
The voice was clear?
Yes.
Okay.
It's clear.
Okay.
Take care, Swamiji.
Bye.